How we doing, everybody? All right, we're rolling. All right.
We've got Chili Goat by Master Spas live here. We'll wait a couple minutes, seconds for people to come on.
If you hop on, if you can give us a sound check and also tell us where you're watching from, we always love to see that. It's always interesting with these, they've started off where we get all the views on these are afterwards rather than people on there live, which is sort of interesting. And I think that happens with the other ones too. But
yeah, and I think, you know, this is new. We're going to keep it rolling so that people start to know that we're on and here.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about taking care of cold water. Okay.
Which is much easier than taking care of hot water.
Yes, it is. Very much so. We'll get into the nitty gritty of it. We'll just wait a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Awesome. Very cool.
Who's babysitting?
Who's babysitting?
Oh, we don't know. I'm assuming it's Kayla.
Kayla, is that you?
Maybe.
Maybe. Got two. We'll give a second for everyone to pop on. All right. All right. Anyway, if you're watching this later and you have a specific question about taking care of water, please put it in the comments. You're welcome to send a message in. Also, let us know where you're watching from. We always like to see that. Hi, Kayla. Good to see you. So always let us know where you're watching from, and if you have questions on later on, we'll pop back on there and answer them. No problem. All right. Peggy, how you doing? My eyes are going, so I have to get closer. I have to get closer to see.
It's small.
It is small. We do the swim spot lives,
Yeah.
and it's a little closer, so we can see them. But now I'm wearing my glasses all the time instead of
One
just
of the
while.
things about cold water is it's just not a breeding ground for bacteria and germs like hot water is.
Right.
So maintaining it, if you have a cold tub at your home, is just a breeze. So, for example, we have this cold tub here, and there's about anywhere from 2 to 6 people using it in any given week. Not heavy use by any means. It's not a commercial tub. We do have some people trying it out, and some testing is done here, but definitely low use. And I mean, maybe we spend 10 minutes a month taking care of it? Maybe. That might be a stretch.
Big maybe. So the whole thing, we get this question all the time like this. If what does it require to take care of it? Anyone who is putting one of these in a business, they're always concerned with how much is this going to take? How much time is this going to take to maintain the water? And I will tell you, you know, like Mary said, cold water is so much easier than hot water. Hot water in a commercial setting is a work.
Yeah, very
That's work.
challenging.
You know, when we go to events, we'll go to CrossFit events. We've gone to Olympic swim trials before. We've gone to Ironman World Championships before. All kinds of events with cold water, hot water. We've done a little bit of everything. When you go to those events, taking care of the hot water, if there's a swim spot, for example, and then a hot tub next to it, the hot tub is typically going to be much warmer than the swim spot, so taking care of it is a lot. It's also a smaller body of water, but then you have this is even smaller body of water, and it's cold, so taking care of it is easy. In fact,
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you buy a Chili Goat cold tub, specifically this model, which is the Alpine model, it comes with a year's supply of water care.
oh, it's backwards. That says 8 ounces. This is a year's worth of chlorine.
Yes,
For
for the
one of
cold
these.
tub.
Not in a commercial use, but for a residence,
And this
it's a year's worth. It's nothing. Okay.
this little teeny
Teaspoon.
is half of that, maybe even a quarter of this, is about what you're putting in for your home
Right.
once or
Oh.
twice a week.
So if your chlorine level was at 0,
Yes.
this is literally
This was my own lesson.
1 teaspoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew, but she forgot.
Yeah.
If you put a full teaspoon in this Alpine with 120 gallons and the chlorine is at 0, that will put you at approximately 10 parts per million, which is way too much. You don't need that much chlorine. So it's just way too much. So you're going to be putting in like a third of a teaspoon and sprinkling it around. Very, very small amounts.
And you want your chlorine level to be a safe chlorine level, which is about 1 to 3 parts per million.
Yeah, for sure.
And my favorite knowledge that I've learned this year from Ben actually is safe drinking water is actually 4 to 5 parts per million.
Wonderful.
One.
4 max.
Oh, 4 max.
So different parts of the country, it is okay to have drinking water contain 4 parts per million of chlorine. In certain places, there's different ranges in different states are all different, but 1 to 4 is the most common range of chlorine in drinking water. This we're recommending 1 to 3 to sit in. So that should give you some kind of an idea
Right.
of just how small amount it is. So what we're always, people are always concerned with when there's going to be multiple users. How do I ensure that the water is clean in between? So what we've done a couple of events, actually quite a few events with CrossFit, and we'll take the cold tubs, and these guys are just, working out like animals, and the ladies always have leggings on,
Yeah.
full pants, like Mary's pants. They always fully clothed. They're jumping in. There's lint. There's sweat, there's chalk, there's pain. They're working out like animals.
Sometimes blood.
Yeah, tears. They're working out and competing at the highest level, and to have them come in there, so taking care of that water is probably, arguably the highest level of use
Sure.
and demand on the water care system and us as maintainers. So we could do that fairly easy. The ones where the one that got hard was Wadapalooza on the beach in California because of the sand.
Yeah.
And it wasn't causing any water chemistry issues or unsanitary conditions. It was just a pain in the butt to deal with the sand.
Because
So
it's
that was
in
it. Yeah.
California where the event was, the sand was so
Sugar.
fine
It's sugar. It's
that
like
even
sugar.
if someone, cleaned their feet and cleaned off their body, it was just in the air. Like, because it is so sugary, it was in the air floating around
Yeah.
at all times. Like,
And then the vacuum sucked it in and spat it back out.
yeah, exactly.
So really funny that way.
So one of the things about taking care of cold water, there are a couple of things that are different than hot water besides that it's easier. So one thing is in hot water, especially in most modern day hot tubs, they're using ozone to kill bacteria and algae. And ozone doesn't actually work very well in cold water. And it has to do with the half-life of the ozone and the dissipating into the air, which it doesn't do in cold water because the water just isn't at a temperature that ozone is going to dissipate. So with ozone, it's not really doing much in cold water. So with Master Spa's Chili Goat, we use UV light to kill bacteria and algae. Again, which is very similar to how drinking water is purified for safe water. So in the Michael Phelps Chili Goat cold tubs, we are using a UV light to kill bacteria, and we use a filter, a small washable filter that's reusable, and we are using a very small amount of that powdered chlorine. And the one other thing that you need to check for is your pH. So in cold water, you're typically checking for chlorine levels and you're checking for safe pH levels. And the test strips aren't really effective in the cold water, or as effective as...
Actually, interestingly, we found that some are and some aren't.
Right, yeah.
It is brand specific. I do not, I know someone's gonna ask what brand actually.
We actually
We
don't
actually
know.
don't remember, but some of them I found were wildly off and some were actually really on target with this kit. So this is, it's gonna be backwards on the live, but it's gonna test your pH and your chlorine. So it's all color coded, the red, yellow, yellow. So you fill up to this line, you can definitely see that little line right there. You fill up the water from the tub, and then you put in 5 red drops on the red side, and then 5 yellow on the yellow side, and just once or twice, you don't have to shake it, you just once or twice get it through there, and then you're lining up these two matching, and it tells you where it is. So if you're in the middle, which on the pH is about where you want to be, 7.5, 7.8 is great. And then you want to be that 1 to 3 parts per million. There's a little bit on the lower side. If you're up here, there's a little too much chlorine. Okay? Super fast, super easy. Then you just dump that. All right, Mike, how you doing, bud?
But that is like that old school pool test kit is going to give you the most accurate information so that your water is safe and easy.
It does take 2 times, maybe 3 times longer than to dip the stick and look at it, but it's not a whole lot longer, and the accuracy is worth it. So this is what we rely on when we go to these events. We've got professional athletes getting in there. We would be horrified if our water didn't look pretty, and also if we ever harm someone by having unsanitary conditions. Never going to happen on our watch. We're giving you the best opportunity with the best information and the best product available so that it doesn't happen.
And then, just like Ben showed you, this is the filter. This is in plastic that you remove, and it goes inside the filter housing in the cold tub. And what we recommend is to rinse this out with your hose or in your sink about once a month, and twice a year, drain and refill.
I have to comment here. If you could imagine the size of Master Spas and our scope, if you think it's common sense to take this plastic off before installing it in the tub to run it, you'd be partially right, but it has happened that people have not taken the plastic off. Take the plastic off, and when you put it back in, I'll give you another tip on the chili goat. You want to put this under the water, fill it up so that it fills up like a cup, and then put it in, because you've got a big air pocket in there, and it is possible to suck in a big, like a burp of air, and you can actually airlock the system by putting this in empty like that. So I always take a second, fill it up, then screw it in, and it's perfect, okay?
Yeah.
Actually, Mike, we're going to have some new stuff coming out for you in that vein also. So we got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then one last thing that the Michael Phelps chili goat tubs have is a 24-hour circulating pump. So that means that the water is constantly moving 24 hours. And that actually has a dual purpose. So in terms of water chemistry, it is going to help to make the maintenance of your water easier, just because stagnant water obviously is going to have a lot less anything in it than moving water will have a lot less anything in it than stagnant water.
Yes. I always tell it this way.
Right.
If we're flying South America, plane goes down, we survive, we're stuck in the jungle, are we looking
Very
for,
true.
well, you gotta paint the picture.
Yes.
You gotta paint the picture. No one will ever forget this rule when they listen to me spurt it out like this.
Right.
Are we looking for stagnant water to drink, or are we looking for moving water to drink? You may still get sick, but you're way better off with moving water.
Yeah.
Moving water, always the way, okay?
So the water in the Michael Phelps chili goat cold tub is constantly moving, which is going to make maintenance easier. But also when you're sitting in it, it means the water is moving, so you can't build a thermal barrier, so that it always feels very cold.
Yes.
Full benefit of cold water.
Okay. Just on my shirt. Okay. Like I said, this is the sanitized. I realize that's backwards. Apologies. This is Vanessa has a Valaris.
Awesome.
Valaris is awesome.
Yeah.
Vanessa, we've been with Master Spas for a long time. Swim spas, hot tubs, I mean, awesome stuff, all the new cold tubs. We've seen it all, done it all, and I will tell you, when I see a Valaris in person and it's sitting there, because we don't actually have one here. We have some hot tubs and swim spas, but we don't have a Valaris here. When we see it in person, it always a second of pause and look at it, and the thing is just so badass. It just is a beast.
Yeah.
That thing is a beast. You may have seen that clip. We took that on Fox News, on Fox and Friends in New York City on the street, and we were all in the Valaris. Mary got the hot side. All right, so real quick, sanitize, that's your chlorine, okay? And then refresh. Spa chemicals use funny words to tell you what things are, so you kind of have to, read through the nonsense to get to what it is. Refresh, if you look, refresh tells you nothing about what it does. But if you look down below, it says chlorine-free oxidizer for your cold tub, okay? So what this is going to do, at the end of the day, if we're at an event and we don't always have access to water to change it out, and we could get hundreds of people in the cold tub in one day, I mean hundreds of sweaty athletes in these tubs, it's abusive. And if that happens and we don't have access to pump that water out and change it real quick under the most harsh demands, then we'll do a teaspoon of Refresh. And you want to leave the cover open. So remember this, chlorine kills, shock removes. Now what's confusing is you can have chlorine shock. It's not the same thing. You want non-chlorine shock and chlorine sanitizer. Those are the two you're using. Chlorine you want to keep up, that kills everything. Shock removes it. Oxidizer removes it, oxidizes it into the air. Okay, but I just want to hit this real quick.
And so it just, in a residential install, once a week on the Refresh, about,
More than enough.
yeah,
It's more than
half
enough,
a teaspoon.
yeah.
once a
No,
week.
1 teaspoon.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon for the shock. Leave the cover open for a while.
On a day that you didn't
Yeah.
chlorinate.
Right, exactly. Okay, then you have balance up and balance down. This is pH, simple as that. So if your pH is low, and in different, geographically we see different things. So if you're getting a bunch of use and your pH dips low, then you're going to use the balance up. If it dips high, you're going to use the balance down. I will tell you that half to 1 teaspoon will bring it down like one each station on the test strip, as a general rule of thumb. So don't get crazy with it. Small amounts. You can always add a little more. If you add a bunch, then you just overdid it for no reason, and then you have to go to the other one and bring it back up. No reason to do that. Okay.
All right, so we just wanted to do a quick overview about taking care of cold water in the Michael Phelps Chili Go cold tubs. And we are good on time, so we're gonna stop here. If you have any questions, post them later. We'll go back to looking at those and answer them later. And we will see everybody in a couple of weeks, maybe?
2 weeks.
We've got a little bit of a crazy schedule, so we'll figure out our
So
next schedule.
that's
We'll
the day
we'll
before
keep you
Thanksgiving.
posted. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Day before
2 weeks,
Thanksgiving.
day before Thanksgiving.
Awesome. See you then. If you have questions, send them in. You can put on there, hey, this is for Ben and Mary. We'll answer your questions personally. Vanessa, how many times should the UV sanitation system should be cleaned? How many times should the UV sanitization system should?
That would be, you need to check in your manual for that.
Yeah.
There's pictures and everything on how to take care of that for maintenance wise. So that.
Not very often.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that will just be on the cold side for you.
Right. Yeah, because your hot side uses ozone. Ozone
Right.
works great in hot water, not great in cold. So your hot side has ozone, UV on the cold side. All right? Page 17. Beautiful. Okay, guys.
See you soon.
See you in 2. Day before Thanksgiving. If you have questions, pop them in. Catch you then.